Hey guys, this is Cece with Keeping It Real with Cece. I just want to apologize for all of the technical difficulties that we've been having tonight. I know we said that we were going to start around 8:30. Oh, it's almost 9. But we are here. We are in full effect. We have a live audience. We are on the couch today, guys. So we moved the table. Unfortunately, Red Pants, he will not be joining us tonight. His family is sick, so hope you guys feel better, okay? Him and his girls. But we are talking about mental illness. Oh, we got the people in the back. We're talking about mental illness tonight, and this is going to be an open forum for all of us. We're going to talk about how the Black community really don't like to go and get help for mental illnesses, and this to be the simplest thing from anxiety, depression, things like that. But we're going to talk about today. We have stories. I was trying to bring someone live, but the live is not working, so we're going to call her, and she's going to be on speakerphone. Her name is Gina Love, and she's going to speak about her autistic son, and she's going to speak about some anxiety issues that she's had or that she has. And I'm going to talk about my anxiety. I don't shy away. I talk about it on my regular page, letting you guys know that, hey, something is wrong with me too. Something is wrong with all of us. But you know, it's normal. It's the new normal, but we don't like to get ourselves checked out. So we're going to be talking about that today. Next week, we're going to just be keeping it real with Cece, just me, and speaking with a health professional and send those questions that you want to be asked. We'll be live, and then you'll be able to ask those questions that you have, that you want and need answers to. Some may be afraid to go and seek help, but we're going to talk about ways that you can go and you can cope. So that's what this show is about. But you guys know this is Keeping It Real with Cece. So we do have fun on this show. This is about mental illness, but we're not going to make this sad, sobby show tonight. It's not going to be about that. We're going to talk about these real issues, and we're going to have real healthy conversations. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Also, I want to say thank you so much for the 1,000 likes that we have on the page. That is amazing. We've only been doing this for 2 months now, and we appreciate all of the love. We really, really do. So we're about to get started. Thank you so much for being patient with us tonight, and let's get it. Let's get uncomfortable. We're speaking about mental illness tonight, okay? So I am going to start the show off because it has been a little late. I'm going to call Gina on and put her on speakerphone so that we can hear her story, and she can talk about how she deals with her autistic son, the challenges that she may have, even with her anxiety, okay? So give us just a moment, and we're going to get her on speakerphone, and we're going to talk to her. Can you pass me my phone? Sound like a pimp. Hey, we keep it real with CC. They know. They know.
Hello.
Hey, Gina, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing good.
Thank you so much for joining us. I do apologize that we weren't able to bring you live, but hey, we're gonna still make it work, okay?
All right, that's cool. That's cool.
Alrighty. So, did you want to start off by sharing your story about your son, or you want to start off with the anxiety? What do you want to talk about?
Either one, just flip a coin.
Okay. Well, let's flip it for your son. Let's talk about the autism. Let's talk about that, because that's one of the things that I've been sharing. Let's talk about the signs. How did you discover that he was autistic? What are some of the challenges that you go through? You know, we want to know for the people who are dealing with these issues and don't necessarily know what to do or seek the proper help.
Okay, well, for myself, like, I'm the youngest, and so I've never really been around children a lot growing up, but when I had my son, I kind of noticed, like, a difference with him. Like, he wouldn't make eye contact with me, but then, like, he did start talking, you know, when he was supposed to, and walking when he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
For my child, the thing that happened was, like, he started talking and he stopped.
Oh, he started talking and stopped?
Yeah, his first words were dog. Like, I had a Pomeranian,
mm-hmm.
and he used to say dog and point at her, and then, like, he stopped speaking.
Oh, wow.
And so that's when I started early intervention for him when we lived in Fairview Heights in Illinois. And when I started early intervention for him, they would come. It would be two ladies for occupational therapy and speech, and he went to Knights of Columbus in St. Louis, where they diagnosed him and said that he had autism when he was 2.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, from there, of course, me being a teenager still, like, that was like tragic for me.
Yeah.
It like put me in a state of feeling like a failure or whatever. And like nobody really was able to explain to me that, it wasn't my fault or anything like that. And like I thought, maybe like my stress and anxiety, could have caused it, but that wasn't the case. Okay. It was just, I didn't know what autism was. And so of course, with that being my son and me, carrying him and loving him, I educated myself as much as I could, because the most important thing for me was to communicate with him properly. Like, I obsessed over communicating with him. And I obsessed with learning,
No, was that I'm sure that was very challenging for you to trying to communicate with your son, knowing that you were going through, or what he was going through.
Yeah, because starting off, he had all the sensory issues. Like he would scream sometimes, and then he would hit himself, and then he would just kind of go crazy a little bit, and it was hard to handle at times. He wouldn't do it all the time. It would just be out in public sometimes, but it was you have to train a child, period. Yeah. And yeah, so it's you take him out in public anyways, and you help him develop no, this is not how you behave in public. And is that challenging within itself by him being autistic? Does he grasp that concept? Yeah, now he's 10. He's fine now. It's just,
okay.
It took a lot. I had to completely alienate myself from going out and doing a lot of things. I barely went out and did anything or whatever. When you do that and isolate yourself at a young age like that too, it's kind of hard for other people who are supposed to be your friends and stuff to understand, and they mocking the situation and stuff until they had their own child and that child is autistic, or they kind of see the different things that go on with parenting and your level of maturity, how you have to level up. Yeah. And you can't stay the same. Gotcha. So yeah, so I changed. Sure nobody did anything to him or whatever, and I kept him close to me. The main thing that happened with myself, I developed health issues or whatever while taking care of him, but I was still continuing his services until he went into school. He started school at 3. Okay. He started at a public school. I wanted him around other children who spoke. Yeah. I felt that would help him more than him being around, not to be funny or nothing, but other kids. I wanted him to be motivated. Yeah. To speak. Exactly. And I totally understand that. Did you find any when a lot of autistic kids, some people, they're gifted and they find different talents. Is it the same with your son? Oh yeah, with him, he likes beats. He likes to make them, and he started doing that because I'm really goofy. I beatbox and stuff with my mouth or whatever, and then I make sound and stuff, and so I remember one time. He had to go to the doctor to make sure he could hear and stuff, and so I was worried about that. But then it was I was doing a noise and stuff, and then I heard him from the other room, he was all the way in another room, and oh, he hears me, okay, yeah. So that's not an issue at all. And so he likes music a lot, and me and my brother are both musically talented. My brother, he's a percussionist. He went on to work in LA with a few agencies and companies or whatever, and he comes in town or whatever, and my son, he loves to be around his uncle and my male cousins and my dad and stuff. He transforms when he's around them. He doesn't want you to do anything for him. Oh gosh. How old is he? He's 10. Yeah, do you guys have any questions for her?
I'm asking the audience if they have any questions for you in regards to your son, their mom. Nothing, guys. Nothing. No. They know.
I commend you, sister.
You hear them? They said they commend you.
You're doing a great job. Thank you. Because it was more so, it wasn't more of a challenge with him. He was never the problem for me. It was other people that were the problem. Their lack of understanding of, you know, just being supportive of that. And, you know, I got a few people, like, I was trying to work and take care of him at the same time because when his therapist or whatever told me to try to get Social Security for him and stuff, he wasn't able to get that.
Oh, so they didn't give him Social Security because of the autism? So they don't do that?
No, they didn't give it to him for a while because he was really smart. His motor skills are up to par. Gotcha. It was just he was nonverbal.
Okay.
And he just like did things that he wanted to do, like snatch things or whatever. Like if he saw something to drink, he would snatch it real quick and like try to hurry up and gulp it down. My son's really calculated.
So would they say that would be a mental illness or a mental disorder?
They counted pretty much. Yeah, it's more so of a disorder. It's like I don't know if you saw the autism puzzle or whatever. It's like, or the ribbon. It's a bunch of puzzle pieces. And that's because like you have to take your time to figure out a puzzle. And like you have to take your time to figure out, you know, what level they're on. And that's how you know, like, because there's different things. Like he doesn't have Asperger's or anything, like where he freaks out or anything anymore like that. Like that completely was gone. After he turned 4, my son was like the calmest when he was 4. Then he as he got older or whatever, he's a really sweet child, and having him around other children and everything, he likes to try to play with other kids and stuff, and that's supposedly not normal for an autistic child. They don't like to be bothered for real, so they you know, they were like, yeah, like that's really good, Isaiah, you know. He wants to see other people have fun and like play with them and stuff. That's one thing that he loves too. He likes to build also, like building blocks, and I got him like a DJ set and everything so he can like start playing music.
Okay.
He mainly he had started developing, you know, his speech and started speaking words when he was 8, and he was talking a lot more. It was just again, I had somebody in my life who didn't quite understand the situation, and so my son, you know, he likes to hum because he likes music, and when they sing songs at school and stuff, he's rocking and singing the songs to himself, and so that person ended up physically harming my child.
Oh wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and
yeah, that is crazy.
Huh?
No, I was just saying it's just crazy that people would do that to kids, you know.
Yeah, and then try to justify it.
Yeah, there's no justification for that.
Yeah, so when my son got physically harmed or whatever, it was all because he wouldn't listen to that person, tell him what to do, but I told him what to do. My son listens to his mother.
Yeah. See, and it's crazy because like people don't go that deep into finding out why a child acts the way they do, or they bad or anything like that. They just chop it up to they're just bad, not knowing that they're having these type of issues, you know. But I don't think that that's something everybody going around saying, okay, well, I'm autistic or I have, you know, I don't know how that really goes. Like, do you have to give that introduction for your son because of how he behaves?
Not really. He actually behaves just fine. It's just when a person tries to talk to him. I have to tell them that he's not going to say too much because he's nonverbal.
Okay. Gotcha.
So yeah, that situation was scary for me. Someone was supposed to be helping with my son, and then I come home to see him beat up and
wow,
shoe print in his back. And
whoa. Yeah, that's just too much.
his arm broken.
His arm was broken?
Yeah, my son ended up having to be in the hospital afterwards. This man did to my child.
So this was an adult who did this to a child?
Yes.
Are they locked up?
The thing is, that situation didn't go as planned because they ran away when it happened. And when they ran away, I took my child to my family. When I took my child to my family, I didn't get the help that I needed still because nothing happened of that. And I kept trying to press the issue that, this happened to my son, and they didn't help out really. The police didn't help out at all, and they were mainly focused on the fact that the guy used to be military.
Oh, so they were focused on him being military, so they didn't want to go further with that?
It was like they were kind of like doing a favoritism thing, and they like completely ignored the fact that he hurt a child, and like I still had the pictures of everything that happened. It was like a nightmare, and I could only imagine what my son went through with his air supply being cut off and a grown ass man putting his hands on him like that.
I'm so sorry you went through that. That's crazy. That's beyond sickening. Like,
yeah. So it's just with me, like, of course, as a mother and the only person being here for my son like that, I can't leave because I was really sick at one point. I developed the illness within my colon where it became cancerous, and I had to have half of it removed.
Oh my goodness.
So when that happened to me, I wasn't able to see, my son like I needed to because I was staying in the hospital in the penthouse suite.
Wow, yeah.
So when I got out, I was fully prepared, to be in my son's, life like I needed to again. He was doing so well in school and everything. And me trying to help another person, they overstayed their welcome. They became jealous of what I had going on and everything, and just started like bad mouthing, down talking both of us and calling him spoiled and stuff. And I'm like, how do you call a special needs child spoiled? That sounds like something's wrong with that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so sorry that you went through all of that stuff that you went through. And I'm so happy. Thank you so much for being so brave as to even tell your story about your son. We definitely appreciate it because people need to know the signs and need to know to get the proper help for the children when you see a lack, and you did what you needed to do for your child. I'm just sorry that you went through those things that you went through with, and surrounding that.
I just want to tell people, like, make sure you get the real proper help, like help from a so-called friend or significant other, something that's not always reliable. Because that person was supposed to be somebody who cared for us.
Right, exactly.
As soon as they got out of the military, he started physically and verbally abusing us.
Yeah.
And it would be best to, I know in the state of Illinois, the funding is like less than it needs to be. It's been cut for disability. And so it's harder to get services than normal.
Yeah. That's true.
But in St. Louis and in other areas, I've always researched, because, me and him plan on leaving here. And I researched that they have all the funding and everything and support and everything. I even went so far as to, okay, like, nobody going to support me like that's around me. I just started joining online support groups.
Yeah, that's smart, too. That's definitely, those help. Those really do help. So you taking everything. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they help a lot. Like, because people don't know, like, it's mentally draining. The child isn't, because it's like you just want the best for your child, and you just like pushing them, like, yes, like, come on, and like every bit of their accomplishments mean something.
Yeah.
He learned how to tie his shoe. Like, I'm like, how? Like, I didn't even know, because it's like I didn't think he was paying attention. But he learned how to tie his shoe. He learned how to make his own sandwiches and put his own clothes on. He learned everything. He had to be independent, and I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Gina, for sharing your story. We really, 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 really appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm gonna start the segment and ask some more questions to the audience. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say? You still rocking? They still just commending you on doing such a great job. You see the people. But
I'll introduce you to him later on. His name is Isaiah.
yes, well, tell Isaiah hello and good night because I know it's time for bed. So
Yeah, he's already in bed.
yeah. Well, alrighty. Well, I'm going to go ahead and continue to go on with the show, but I really want to thank you again for coming on and sharing your story about your son. And if you, well, we're going to talk about anxiety in just a moment here, but if you can just join the commentary and just write us and we can go from there, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I get caught up in talking about
No, you're fine. You're fine. We definitely needed to hear that. There's people out here that are dealing with the same thing. So thank you so much for sharing because you just brought a lot of insight to what people need to do. Like you said, get the proper help. And that's what they need to do. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on.
No problem at all. I'll keep in touch with you, okay?
All right, love.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye-bye. That was pretty brave of her to share her story. Yeah. So we just got through speaking with Gina, and she shared her story about her son with his autism, and like she lost friends along the way because people don't really understand what you're going through. I don't have an autistic child, but I do know of others who do have autistic children, and so like she said, like she shared a really horrible story in regards to what happened to her son, and I'm so sorry to hear that. But like she did say one thing that was definitely good, and it's that you guys need to get the proper help for your children. Notice these signs early on. Notice their motor skills. Pay attention to those children because they don't need to be deemed as crazy. They need to get the proper help so that they can cope and live a normal everyday life. So we're going to talk about some other things. So thank you so much for staying tuned with us. Okay, I know it's late, but you know how we do it on Keeping It Real with CC. All right, so I'm going to go to the couch and we're going to talk some more. Right, exactly. Okay, where the cards at? I think Darrell is back, guys. He's on the couch. We're on the couch.
Darrell, welcome back.
Yeah, say hello to Darrell. Welcome back. Welcome back. How does it feel to be back?
Darrell. Green hat.
Green hat, right? We got green hat tonight.
1 week. Y'all act like oh man.
All right, how you guys doing tonight?
Good.
I know it's late. Thank you guys. You had some cookies. Y'all feeling good. And it's past your bedtime. Okay, thank you so much for coming out here. We had some new people in the audience. So you want to let's see.
So when she was explaining, I asked her what's
Yes,
the difference between a mental illness and disability. I didn't know.
So can we hear? Say that again. We'll tell the people again.
Mental illness and a mental disorder. His was uncontrollable. Like his cognitive. It was his mental neurology is something that only can be controlled by certain environments. Mental illness is something that can be controlled by medicine or the right therapeutic or something like that, or simply just getting rid of some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It can be controlled by that. There are two different levels.
Okay, I had no idea it was a difference.
It's still a mental instability,
right?
But that's a mental disorder.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Netta. And well, this is because the post that I originally did is about mental illness in the Black communities. So why do you feel that is that Black people don't really like to go and get help for these issues? Do you guys have any take on that?
I mean, in my views and my vision, it's just a matter of we ignore problems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the main thing about our people is we like to ignore what's right in front of us. Like you don't want nothing to be wrong with you.
That's true. Yeah. You don't
Ain't
want to be
nothing wrong
called
with
crazy. Yeah.
And then also, I would say, like I posted a post earlier, a lot of people don't want to be labeled. A lot of people don't want to be labeled. Like, my post was simply addressed to, like, single parents. Like, hey, single parents should get therapy. Everybody took that left. Like, oh, so what are you saying? Single parents are bad? No. I'm
I
saying
thought that was a good post,
It was-
2:30. I thought
and-
it was a
and-
good one.
and it was just a blanket post. One, I knew I was gonna come on here, and then
Mm-hmm.
two, it was just to see people reaction. I'm like, how do you take a post about getting help and take it left like I'm calling you a bad parent? I never
Right.
said you were a bad parent.
But you got to understand, and I got what
But
you
people
were coming
take
from when
people
you said
take
that.
therapy and automatically put bad.
Yeah.
Counseling bad.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong with you. You went to a therapist. You're crazy. No, it's just help. Everybody needs to go to therapy.
Yeah. So as a black man, have you gone to therapy?
I have. I actually I had a situation happen. I do promotions and events,
Mm-hmm.
and we had an event where some violence happened. A young man lost his life, but it happened in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
That put me in a bad mood for a minute. So yeah, I go to therapy. I recommend it to anybody. Go get checked out. For me, anybody that's black, we go through PTSD somewhere. Somewhere in your life, you went through some kind of PTSD. So I don't know if it's with your parents, with the neighborhood, school, somehow there was some kind of PTSD in your life, and people just don't deal with it. You know, that's in the house. You know, don't say nothing like that. So, yeah, sweeping under the rug. Like my mom is old school. She don't believe in like all that. She don't. She old. She one of the people that you're not gonna change her belief. You know, but like. Yeah, like that's a thing that like we gotta get this out. We gotta bring this to light. Like mental illness in the black community needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed. Yeah. It has to be.
It has to be. And that's why we're doing this forum tonight. It would have been great if we had a professional here, but that's gonna be next week. But talking about it amongst us is definitely important because we don't want to be deemed as okay, yeah, we're crazy. But when you look at all of the signs and the symptoms of those mental illness and mental disorders, I know you can relate to something. You can relate to some of those things because when I did, I'm like, dang, I got this, dang, I'm just a ball of crazy, you know, just what you would think, you know, but like it is life. Goodness, go ahead. What you was gonna say, Netta?
I think the problem is people don't know, they don't recognize mental illness. You know, like you said, you had to look it up. Who's going to take time to look up they got a mental illness? You know what I'm saying? So the question is, what are signs that you have a mental illness?
There's a lot of signs, definitely with the sadness and the depression, like all of that anxiety, like that's a mental illness. Like that's why I was saying a couple weeks ago, I said there is something wrong with everybody. I said be kind. And that's when you don't know when something is going on with anybody's life, just like with her son being autistic. You know, you're going to deem him as, oh, that little badass kid or whatever the case may be, you know, not knowing that this is an autistic child. You know, this child has a mental illness disorder, whatever, but nobody's taking the time to really see what's going on. You just want to prejudge. But like she said, she saw what was different with her son, and she took him to get the proper help. But when you see things just like when you go just like when I was reading, like diabetic. I'm a diabetic. You know, you get those symptoms, you get those things. You know, you have to go to the doctor for those things to maintain, just like you have to go and maintain for your mental health status. That's important, you know? Yeah. So, but
I think a lot of people got to know too that you can't, like, if you're a doctor, you can't write a prescription for yourself. We like to I'm good, you know. I'm a little crazy, but I got it under control. You cannot self-prescribe nothing. You cannot self-diagnose anything. Like find out what's wrong from someone else. I dated a girl for 2 years that battled with a lot of stuff, and she would not go get help. She didn't feel comfortable talking to somebody else because of how she was raised. She would not go talk to somebody. And still refuses to this day. She just doesn't feel comfortable talking to people about her problems.
Okay, you said how she was raised. How was she raised? And I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
I mean, it's just the background of her household. Her household was in-house. She was raised with a 2-parent household, and everything was handled in-house. All the issues that they handled was in-house. They were really close-knit. It was real tight. It was weird to me.
Anything that happened in the house stayed in the house. I do not literally. No, I mean like everything literally stayed in the house. And whatever issues they had, they didn't even work them out. Like it ain't like they getting worked out in the house. They literally just stayed in the house.
I just think everyone likes to use Google. I'm like, oh, I can figure out what's wrong with me.
Look it up.
Well, that's what's wrong with me. Exactly. And I'll get past it. What's the symptoms? Oh, what's it? Okay, I'll figure it out.
Google is the worst thing to go to. Like where I work at, we do wellness programs, and we try to say, okay, we try to keep you away from Google, so we have this nurse on staff to help you with your situation or whatever. But people Google is, when it comes to symptoms, don't Google. Don't Google people. Go to the doctor.
Well, you think you can die tomorrow?
Right, you're gonna go to the doctor.
I will say, working in the medical field, I see doctors go on Google. They do. The pharmacists go on the internet. The providers go on the internet. They use it too.
I ain't gonna lie, Google every medicine I get. Every prescription I get, I Google.
Well, that of course.
Well, you're Googling the medicine.
You're
Googling
Googling
medicine,
the
not diagnosis.
Yeah, not your diagnosis.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I read reviews too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, docs. I think docs go on there just kind of
Double stamp.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
double
kind of
stamp.
make sure of some stuff because they got to know so much. Because I'm in the
Yeah, they
medical
don't know
field too.
everything.
So they got to look up stuff. Because I went into a doctor's office today, prescribing my product, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's what, yeah, it says that too." Yep. Yep. So
For real.
they do that for real. So I mean,
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it all the time too. I definitely go just to double check myself.
Yeah.
I
So
Google everything.
I ain't gonna lie, they call
back
me,
on it.
they call me Google at my
everything.
church. My pastor called me Google. My pastor literally calls me
Okay,
Google.
Mr. Marco Google.
They call me Google.
So would you guys think, or do you think like mental illness is a sign of weakness?
No,
No.
that's a stigma that people put on it.
Exactly. That's I was gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good. That's what I was gonna say. So well, we're gonna tell you what mental illness is for those that don't know. Mental illness is a disease that causes mild to severe disturbance in thoughts and or behavior, resulting in an inability to cope with life's ordinary demands and routine. Now, we're keeping it real with CC, guys. Have you guys ever been, or do you feel that you have any mental illness? You know, I don't know if you want to go there. We
I'm
of
effed up.
I'm
You
sure.
are, it's okay to say that. High five. It's okay to
Almost
say that
didn't
you're
come.
not okay.
I almost didn't come today because I know I'm effed up.
Right. And it's okay to tell people that, you know, it's okay to not be okay. And that's what people need to understand. It's okay to not be okay. You're not the only one that is not okay.
So I was explaining this to somebody. I was like, after that event happened, I was like, it made me look at like asking questions differently. Like, so when people ask, "How are you?" It's programmed in our head like, "Oh, I'm good," you know, whatever. And I had to explain to that person, like, when I asked you that, if I'm asking you that today, I mean, how are you? I want to know, like, in detail what's going on. I got the time for that. Too. Like, how we got the time, I got the time. Tell me what's going on. Because it's like, we so programmed to be like, "Oh, I'm just good."
Mm-hmm.
And that's robotic. Like I had somebody inbox me, was like, "I didn't know you were going through that." I'm like, "But did you ask?" I'm like, "I check up on you all the time."
Mm-hmm.
I never
check
thought
on your strong friend.
I never thought to check on you. You know, you always laughing and do. I'm like, of course I laugh. What I'm supposed to do? Cry on social media all day? No offense to anybody that do or anything like that, but no, but him crying on social media might be might give leeway for somebody else to express their feelings and cry. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was like the person was like, though, they were saying like, "Oh dang, I didn't even know you went through that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I went through a lot of stuff." I'm like, my thing is when I go through something, that makes me want to pour into more people. Like, hey, you know, I went through that. You know, you can get through it. Look what I'm at. Look what I'm going through. Like, I'm on the other side of that now. Come on out.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed with clinical chronic depression for over 28 years.
Really?
Yeah. The doctor, the psychologist actually told me she didn't understand
Can you
why.
speak up just a little bit? Speak up just a little
Scoot
bit.
up to the front.
You next.
Come
Speak up just a little bit.
Come up to the front.
Right here. That's good.
I think the sound.
We want you to say that word again.
That's what.
Yeah.
What is that?
I was diagnosed with chronic clinical depression.
Chronic clinical
Depression. And my therapist couldn't figure out why no one had put me on medicine because I had it so long. But going to therapy, and what drove me there, I was in a horrible marriage. So I had been in therapy before, though. That's the crazy part. So I had been in therapy when I was 7 years old because of some traumatic thing. And then now, as an adult, I'm in there now because of my marriage. Well, all of it was directly linked to what I experienced when I was 7 years old. You know, my marriage just enhanced the chronic depression.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I end up learning that while I was acting out, wilding out, like I was,
Mm-hmm.
that was a sign of depression. Most people think you're suppressed. You know, like you don't do anything or you're isolated.
Right.
There's people that's literally going around smiling and laughing in your face that are depressed.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people couldn't notice it on me because I still kept a smile. I was still happy. But behind closed doors, I was just broken. You know,
Right.
I didn't want to live. That's how bad it was.
And what made you get the help for that? You said that at 7 years old, you went to the doctor for that?
Yeah.
So what prompted your family to take you to the doctor for that?
I experienced when I was 7 years old, I went through sexual assault with my stepfather.
Oh.
So from 7 to whatever age, when I told that, you know, DCFS gets involved and you gotta go to therapy. When they sent me to therapy and everything, but it was still more like my family still didn't address the issue. My family
That's a big
still
issue.
swept it underneath the rug.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which they usually do.
I'm getting help, and ain't nobody saying nothing to me about what happened.
Mm.
So now I'm mad. So now I'm finna fight everybody. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody protect me. I ain't got no respect for nobody. I mean, this is how I was because ain't nobody protect me. Ain't nobody give me the damn. So why are you even there about you?
Right.
You know, that was the attitude that came with not being protected.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine from 7 years old going all the way fighting till I was up in the 8th grade physically fighting people because of that. But when a person has a mental illness, they cannot link that's what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that's what's going on with them.
Yeah.
They just know that they mad.
Right.
But anytime you flipping over tables, busting out somebody's TVs and all that stuff, you have an issue.
Yeah.
If you can't have self-control, you have an issue. And so that was me. I didn't know. Like I said, I got involved I got married and it amplified. So now I got to go get help because I'm sitting there thinking like, dang, is it him or me? Both of us was messed up though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing I learned. People that have mental illness normally sometimes attract people with other mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what leaves a toxic relationship, period. I said,
she needs to be up here, but
She in the corner.
wants
She
to
needs to sit right here.
So you guys can't hear her. I mean, you can't see her. So hopefully, can they hear her?
Tell her to sit up front.
Can y'all hear her?
Hey, you had said something about busting out TVs. Do that count like windows?
yeah, that's a sign of.
Some Jasmine Sullivan type stuff.
But listen, it's only. Let me tell you something.
Come on
If
up
a
here.
female is doing that, something was triggered by somebody.
Right.
It was triggered. It was always in her, but something triggered it.
I'm saying,
We gotta
like,
talk about triggers here. We
We
all got
I mean,
we all got
all
triggers.
got
I might have been the trigger, but I'm saying, like,
Was she joking about
Yeah,
it?
so
I ain't load the gun, though.
it was already in her. That one thing
You
just
brought it out
sent them
of her.
out.
You just brought it
That
out.
one thing just sent them out.
You said
like an
yeah.
accelerant.
We're
Yeah.
gonna talk about that on
You
another
provoked it.
episode. I want to know why breakups be the way we gonna talk about
We're
that.
gonna-
No,
That's
no,
another
Breakups are not like that.
That's
That's
another-
another
Oh,
topic,
no.
though.
That's another
it.
conversation.
Say that for later.
Yeah, that's
topic.
That's
No,
coming soon.
we brought up yesterday, like people have PTSD from relationships.
I have.
Yeah.
I have that.
Listen, let me
Y'all
tell you
moving,
something.
y'all moving ahead.
Let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Due to the things that I have been through in relationships, I keep my life entirely private because triggers have happened to me because of social media. I don't post nothing good. Nothing good. Anything go on in my life, I don't post it. Because I don't want to trigger somebody. Oh, he think he good? He think he living? Let me slide. I had a female come spray paint my car a year later because I got a new car.
What?
Yes.
And you had posted it.
I had posted my new whip. I thought I was shy. I threw the rims on. I got the 22s on. This is 22s big. I had the 22s on. Just got the little lift kit. I thought I was up.
Nah, you gave her some of that nut, and she nutted up on you. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
A year later, though,
A year
I hadn't talked to her in a
Okay,
year.
see, that's why you need to wait.
Sometimes.
Remember, you didn't want to wait.
See,
That's
that
why
was-
you need to wait.
That was a trigger.
That was a trigger for her.
So, by the thing,
Wait,
I
she
don't
must
post.
not have been rolling.
Listen to me. I
The
could
car
be.
was a trigger, though.
Listen to me.
Was her car messed up?
I don't know.
Did she catch the bus over there?
I don't post my car. I'm not posting my house. If I get the keys, I just got the keys.
That's PTSD.
Yeah.
That's PTSD.
If I get in a relationship, don't worry about it. You ain't gonna see it.
But what if
And
she
it's not
posts-
because I'm hiding it. It's just because I learned.
What if she
Don't
posts-
nobody. People don't want to see you happy.
Exactly.
Nah, yeah, that's true.
Well, so love company. You just gotta be private. I'm private. Block list a mile long. I
But
don't
that also
care.
depends on the person, though.
I will
At the
block
end of the day.
you and everybody associated with you.
Right.
I
I've
will
done
go
that
through and
before.
delete every
Oh,
mutual
Lord.
friend we
I
had.
done
I don't
that
even
with
talk about
nobody.
it.
I want you to
I've
see.
done
I want you to
that.
see my life.
I do that my whole life, but back then I don't want to see you.
I'm humble. I don't want you to
See,
see
but
that.
see, that's what I'm saying.
I'm humble.
But there's different levels of.
But
being
I'm not.
humble,
I'm like
I don't want
you
you to
don't
see
move
me.
me like that though.
No, you ain't got the control.
I mean,
Jenna
but
said-
you're also like a female, and I ain't saying all females do that, but you don't move me enough for me to like
Yeah,
what
you
you got
ain't-
going on.
Yeah, you ain't
So
taking up too
post,
much
go ahead, do your thing. I'm
Now I'm there.
Yeah.
Back then I
I
was.
don't-
Hey, Jenna said you put the good D on her, fam. You can't do that.
All right, we getting on top of this.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
some
we way
of
off.
them.
I
What
didn't
are
learn
the
that you
people
can't put it all the way in. I learned that.
No,
You gotta halfway.
Okay, so like we're talking about mental illness, I'll give you the most common mental illness that are out there. So like you stated first, this is the number one, the clinical depression. And you said you had chronic.
That's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
level.
yeah, that's another level of it.
That's
Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
We have the
For real.
bipolar disorder, ADHD, yeah, and that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
I have that.
Oh, you do?
I don't know.
I was
You
I was diagnosed with
You
ADHD.
probably
You
are.
So
Schizophrenia, autism, anxiety disorder, dementia, obsessive compulsive disorder,
that's my wife.
and PTSD.
PTSD.
Post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
So pretty
So,
much.
yeah,
that's
I said
what
bipolar,
Yeah, she said bipolar.
Yeah.
Which
So
was-
that was the order when I did all my research, that how it came in and everything.
So I
like
know
that.
from me growing up, I had reserves on mental health because of the whole ADHD thing. I felt like they were trying to label black kids, like everything. I still think they do to a certain
They
extent.
do to say.
I feel like it's a rush to do it,
Yeah.
and they don't know when you put that label on that kid, it's all the way it's gonna follow him for the rest of his life or her to the rest of his life.
Right.
I feel like they don't know how to educate black kids in the inner city.
Yeah.
Somehow we lost that. We lost the and I coach high school football. We talked about that. We was actually talking about that today at my meeting before I came here. Like they've lost the power to educate inner city kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think the education has changed. No, the kids coming into the school have changed.
Definitely.
That's coming from the home. Like the home.
And that's what we
these
talked
kids,
about.
all these videos we've been seeing with these kids beating up these teachers. Something wrong with them kids. Like
And
something
also-
is
and
wrong.
then that's
But
why-
see, what you
also-
just
they
said
also
was
know the
something
kids
wrong
can't-
with them, but that is a mental illness.
It
That's
is.
because they're suffering from trauma. And while we're saying something wrong with them, I'm saying no. Somebody needs to be in there, a mental health advocate in the school with
agree.
them.
And that's why I posted there earlier.
If
today.
you don't
I
come
agree.
sit up here right now,
But again, like
But see, at
and
the
it's
same
crazy.
time, on that subject, that starts in the home. Because if you have a kid in a home, people are raising their kids that you don't let nobody touch you. You don't let nobody talk to you crazy. You can hear a kid can hear a teacher or hear their parent threaten their teacher on the phone with their friend. I'll fuck that bitch up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. Like you
So-
got those parents.
These are the things that's going into the school with the kids. So when the teacher say something to a kid, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? So it starts at home. I ain't got no kids, so I'm gonna shut up now.
No, but see, no,
No,
but
but
you
you
said
said
no.
you
I
know,
hate
but
that.
see, no,
So
the funny thing about
so
it,
check me out.
Involved around kids.
So check, I hate that.
yeah.
So
I had that stigma put on me before I had my daughter. Like, oh, you say you're gonna do all this, you say you're gonna do all that, but when you get a kid, you're not gonna do all that. How I said it then before I had my daughter is how I raised my daughter. My daughter's number one in her kindergarten class. She take first grade work. She knows Spanish and she learned a second language. How I raised my daughter is we weren't playing. And a lot of people, like I made a post the other day, and I be upsetting people. I'm gonna stop. I love y'all. I made a post. I made a post. I was raised not to celebrate Christmas. Oh, you don't celebrate Christmas? What you gonna get your daughter? You missed out on her childhood. So I said, me not celebrating Christmas is not letting my daughter have a childhood. But you will play rap music and curse
right.
and be on live doing all this crazy stuff with your kids, smoking, doing all that. But that's a childhood? I'm like, let's make it make sense now.
Make it make sense.
Because that's like, I believe my daughter telling me that she'd rather go on a trip
Yeah.
than have a Christmas is her being smart. That's how I'm teaching her. Think about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Am I a perfect parent? By no means am I a perfect parent at all. But I'm saying, like, I'm teaching a bigger picture. And I noticed that a lot of people don't trip off that.
Yeah.
They're so in their mind, they're so in like their box. And it's just a tradition of like generational curses, generational things that's passed down. And it's like we gotta learn how to get outside that box.
We gotta get
It's
exposed.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we've been taught wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yelling at your kid is not
It's
okay.
not okay.
Yeah.
It's not
Abusing your kid, it's not okay.
Cursing
at your kid.
Okay.
I made a post about cursing, and I just post just to give people feedback. I love the dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And those people that admitted to cursing at their kids, they're like, well, I don't see nothing wrong with it. My mama did it to me, I came out fine. That's abuse.
But that's you, though.
That's abuse. And they not fine. They deal with things too. It's abuse. It's abuse. It's some kind of abuse. I don't care what you say. It's an abuse. It's something that you need to deal with, that somewhere down the line, they're going to come into an interaction where it's either they're not going to know how to deal with it because of something they went through.
That's true. The one thing I learned about working with kids that are in, it's funny how you can tell them to sit down, they won't respond. But if you tell them to sit the F down, they respond. That is an issue.
Yeah.
Your child shouldn't be able to respond to sit the F down versus sit down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's an escalation of force. It's like sit down. It's like, okay, I kind of can sit down, but the F word is like, okay, now she really mean it.
I hate when parents say that.
Yeah.
But no, I meant sit down the first
Exactly,
time.
yeah,
I told them.
exactly.
I hate when parents say that.
Say what?
Say, oh, I had to curse them out. No, you
No.
No,
didn't.
you don't. But
I've had people, oh God, I've had people tell me that. Oh, well, I said it to them 3 times. I'm like, you go to work every day, right? I'm like, you do what your manager say every day? No, they have to tell you stuff repeatedly. It's the same thing. Imagine you at 35 having your manager tell you to do something over and over again, and you still break rules, but you expecting a 10-year-old to just listen on the first try. That don't make sense. That's not realistic.
That's true.
I don't know. Let me respond
Yeah, I
to
was
this.
just gonna say
What?
that.
Janelle said they don't want to educate inner city kids. It starts at home. Peanut says, as teachers, only so much can be done. I have had a student that hit me on several occasions, and the parent refused to go get them help. Adrian said, my issue is the teachers wanting to label kids ADHD and then drug them up. Peanut said, teachers can't label kids, only refer them. They're evaluated by professionals who may wrongfully diagnose them.
That's true. I agree with all that.
Early.
I agree with all that.
We're going to let Keita go. She got that hand up. Go ahead. You've been quiet. Thank you for joining this conversation. We're going to go to Keita next.
There you go, Keita.
And Tiffany and
I'm
Danielle.
gonna piggyback off what she said because my son had a similar situation where he didn't touch the teacher because we're raising him. You respect your elders and things like that. But just the fact that he attempted to move this adult out the way to get to another student, it triggered in me like, okay, something is going on. He needs to get some type of help. He's already had anger management issues where we had him speaking with our pastor and things. But I was like, as he's getting older, it's starting to get worse. And I don't want my child to be a statistic.
Right.
And then they'd be like, oh, well, his mom didn't do anything. And, they didn't try to get him the proper help and things like that. So I do believe it starts at home. But at the same time, I think sometimes the teachers automatically assume if I call home, the parents aren't going to do anything, this and that. Because like you said, so often the parents, oh, don't call me. And you're supposed to be the teacher, do your job, walk the band. Like, it's so many different aspects that play a part in that. So often we assume you the teacher, you got my child for 8 hours, do your job, that's what you get paid to do. They're getting paid to educate your child, not deal with them being cursed out, being violent towards that person. Like, that's not what they're there for. And me personally, I can't be a teacher because the first time a child even puts their finger on me, I'm losing my job.
Yeah.
If I don't allow my own kids to do it, I'm not gonna let somebody else's child do it. That's just me.
You said that you went to seek help from your pastor. Did that work? Because are they clinically trained to? No. That's what I'm thinking.
So
because that's kind of like going to like a family
At first,
member.
I thought that it was working, but then it seemed like when he wasn't talking to him, it was like he just reverted back to how he was before he talked to him. So I was like, this ain't really working. You need someone that actually has the expertise behind this, that knows what they're doing. I'm like, he has the expertise as far as, preaching and things like that, but he doesn't have that mental expertise that he would need to tell you how to
somebody,
Yeah, because I have anger issues, so it kind of like trickled down for me. I don't, necessarily abuse my kids or anything like that. I do discipline them if I need to, as far as punishments and things. But I feel like by them seeing me get upset, it kind of had an effect on them, which I try to not let them see that. But sometimes, depending on the situation, you can't really control your emotions.
And have you gotten help for those anger issues that you have?
Yeah, I still go to therapy for mine.
Okay, and has he sought therapy for?
Yeah, he
okay.
goes at school, and then we have him go
Gotcha.
on the weekends also.
Let me
Yeah,
say
go
something.
ahead, go ahead.
I didn't mean don't beat your. I mean don't whoop your kids. I ain't tell.
You put
Beat
that
them
fine
kids,
difference.
y'all.
Let me put the word on it. Spare the rod, spoil the child. I ain't saying don't do that. I'm saying don't abuse your children. But
Exactly.
like the whole pastor thing. So I went to my pastor for help.
Mhm.
And like I trust my pastor. I call my pastor dad. So there's a relationship there where I know already what he's going to come to me and give me. So that was it. What he helped me with was expected. I say do both.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you have
both.
it. If you, some people don't trust their pastors, or some
Yeah.
people don't trust.
They want to put their business, you know, 'cause,
Yeah.
you know.
Put their business
Well, no.
Yeah.
Some
And
people
see,
just
that's
don't have
the
their
worst thing.
relationship.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
call my pastor right now, and he'll
Yeah.
answer the phone.
Yeah.
So there's a different relationship that you like. If you have that relationship, then have access. If you have
Yeah.
access to them, then do both because you get the spiritual and the natural,
That's
which
true.
you can't beat. I honestly think that you can't beat that because you got a spiritual side that's covering you, and you got the natural side where you're getting help.
Yeah.
So you know it's two ways.
I have a
I
question.
like that. Yes, ma'am.
Do we think men suffer more with being in denial of mental illness than women?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes, we do.
That was on the next thing.
Yes,
Don't
we
know.
do.
I don't know if that's true.
But yes, I was
we-
going to talk about that.
Because we think we have to be the center of all things. We think we can't cry about nothing.
And
It's more
And
pressure on us.
And especially because in our household,
But do you
Like
feel like
it
that was
weighs
taught?
things
I don't
weigh
think
on
so.
us.
I don't-
Why do you say it's more
Okay,
pressure?
hold on.
Because-
Cause y'all know we gotta do one at a time.
Yeah,
Y'all,
yeah,
I know
yeah,
that this
yeah.
that's a
Go
good
ahead.
that's a good topic.
Go ahead,
But
go
one
ahead.
at a time, you know, we raising them
Hey, the
hands,
hands
guys.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's start just right here. Come on.
Everything, the center of life weighs heavier on us than it is women. Because naturally, we have a heavier responsibility than women. We have a heavier obligation to defeat the statistics than women. You know what I'm saying? Society has turned the single parent home into the new norm when it shouldn't.
I agree.
So when you a stand-up guy and you want to do the right things, you're attempting to do the right things, these things are making heavier on you. Okay? A woman can have a career making mediocre pay. That's fine. But when a man has a career and his pay is not as grand as it should be, it makes life hard. You know what I'm saying? Because we're the sole providers. I'm sacrificing the most to make sure the wife and the kids get everything that they need.
and then
But that's a,
and
that's
then well, hold on. But then don't let us have another kid outside of the relationship because I do. I got two in the relationship that I'm with, and then one outside.
That's for another conversation.
But
No,
but it
no,
but
no,
it's
it
part
plays in- it plays
but
a
it
part.
plays a part because I got pressure from this household,
yeah,
pressure from this household,
that money split.
and so my money is like my wife. Thank God my wife is a rider because she takes care of everything.
Yes, sis.
Like she's like, all right, what we need to do.
Right.
She'll handle the. She'll figure out ways to we can get $50 right there. We good. I mean, so she figures it out. So she keeps me from taking a chair to my baby mama and just.
See, I'm worried.
So it keeps me calm so that I don't have to stress out about it as much. Don't get me wrong, I still stress, but I probably got some screws loose somewhere. One day I'm probably gonna snap, but
Have you sought out help?
no.
Yeah.
You didn't have
Yeah.
to need
No.
If you're
Yeah.
Well,
mental, you
I
should.
know I need it, but it's back to what we're talking about.
Then you
Is
seek
that
out
pride?
help.
But
That's
is
not
that
hold on,
pride.
hold on.
That's another bill.
what?
That-
well, hold on.
That's
First of all, on her
It is-
page, there should be a list of providers for therapists and counseling. I posted it on there. There should be. Also, if you're working, there is something called EAP. EAP will give you a discount. EAP will give you a discount on top of your insurance. So if you have EAP, please use that. Just go through your HR or your manager and ask for EAP, and they'll tell you about the rest of it. I'm learning. This is all stuff. You literally have to go out and learn this.
Yeah.
Until you
Which-
go through it, you don't know.
Your job
But-
And like they'll pay
Look
for
at
it.
the page, you guys, for the information that he just disclosed. But
No, but I agree with him because like as men, we don't have the luxuries of being a damsel in distress.
No, we don't.
You know what I
At
mean?
all.
We have to have our stuff together. You know what I mean? So
But-
it's to
But
me.
I gotta play the devil's advocate because
Me
like
too.
women like right now rule everything. Like especially in the black community. Like especially black women don't have the time to go to counseling. If you look at like they outnumber us in jobs, education, owning their own business, like moving up like power. Like if you look at the power structure, it's shifting to the black woman,
Yeah,
which I do hate, by the way. No offense to black women.
No, I agree.
I need the black men to step up.
Yeah, I agree.
I
with
need
that.
us to step up for
Yeah.
real. Like, cause like it shouldn't be, and we're outnumbered by a lot, but it shouldn't be so imbalanced like the way it is. Like it's like literally. I'm using my church for example. I think it's like 5 black men in our church. Like 5, and I kid you not, all of us is bought by a woman. There's nobody that walked into that church and was like, oh, I want to be, better myself. Everybody was bought by a woman. And like that's crazy.
Hey, all my clients here who come here are mostly women, and the men I have come here, their women brought them here.
So what I'm saying is a lot of like, and it starts at home. We're still being taught this. It was a woman that called the radio, and it blessed my soul. She said for years, she was taught to be independent. She thought it was the right way to do it, and she wanted to be the independent woman. She wanted to be the soul bearer, and then she realized it broke her.
Yep.
She's like, I can't. That's not my role. That was never my role. That was never why I was created. That man was supposed to lead me and guide me. The thing about it is I don't have anybody to take me there.
Exactly.
That's the same thing Monique said.
That right there will
Exactly.
create-
And that's why I would have to go to that's why I would have to say the woman, only because the woman is carrying a lot. If you look at like I coach high school kids. These boys are baby-fied. Women, if you have young men,
Listen.
please, I'm telling you as a high school coach, these kids are soft.
Mhm.
Like the little boys, if you say something to them, they ball up. If you're a single mom, and if you look at your child, if you look at the problems he have with teachers, I guarantee you it's a woman teacher. I guarantee you more than likely it's a woman teacher because they're used to women yelling at them. He don't know how to handle that man.
Yeah.
He don't know how to handle a male black teacher. You won't have a problem with it. You won't have a problem with it. He'll shut it
I
down.
can say it in the streets too, because
Because he don't know. He don't shut it down. He don't know how to handle it.
Kids respect tone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like
That's why I don't have no kids.
you,
Well,
I mean,
Hey, spit that knowledge, man. Spit that knowledge, man.
Yes.
Spit
I
that knowledge.
date women with kids. I'm not a man with no kids that discriminate. So I date women with kids.
Hey, go check him out on
And-
Instagram. No,
I need a daddy.
You know what I'm saying? I've come to learn like you can see a kid, a mom can say something 5 times. I can say something with my tone.
One time.
You gonna react?
That is
react,
so
But
true.
in my case, it's not. Because my wife, when she speaks, she is white too. But when she
I don't know if
speaks,
that matters, but
hey, but some people will. It matters a lot. I know.
hey.
But whenever my wife speaks, I can say something 10 times. My son will look at me like, "Shh, please." When my wife say something,
You might have to change the dynamic.
You gotta
But
change the
that's-
dynamic.
but no matter how my tone is or whatever,
You got.
It's not an aggressive
It's
tone.
not a
It's just a
tone.
tone.
It's just a tone. Like my daughter responds like it's
my
certain
daughter
things-
responds to me very well. My daughter will, if I say something, she sits down.
So you have to. So you gotta. There's something going on. There's a dynamic in that household that you gotta line up with your son. That's all. And I'm not saying that you just gotta address that. Like my daughter at her mom's house, there's certain things I noticed that she knows she can't do at my house.
Well, that's my other
I'm
household.
giving an example.
My
Like,
wife, my daughter is the other household.
but like there's certain things she knows. She knows dad just.
I'm telling you,
Make sure you call one
man.
before you leave tomorrow. That's on your checklist tomorrow.
You gotta list them. You gotta list the
They
therapist.
got
I found you. I got a male therapist for y'all. Ain't
No, they
no
say
black
speaking the truth.
so I mean,
Yeah, all mine are African American therapists too. No offense to anybody that's
No,
not
you
paying
don't
attention.
say
you need to go to
Yeah, but it's
So-
it's an African American therapist.
We're gonna move past that one. Let's talk about the PTSD, the post traumatic stress disorder. So when I looked up,
That's
I was
real.
the main symptoms, coming from rape, combat exposure, childhood neglect,
Violence.
childhood physical abuse, and it will say for the women, rape is always the number one. Sexual molestation, physical attack, being threatened with a weapon. You know, it's kind of. Let's speak on that.
It's real.
Yeah, PTSD is real.
Man.
Like, I haven't sought out help, but I've gotten help for it. I had to, because I was overseas for a long time. And I saw things that a lot of people couldn't stand. You know what I mean? And I was marked for depression, not because it bothered me, because it didn't bother me. Like a lot of people who were overseas, they came back. No, something's wrong with them. I was just chill. You know what I mean? And they marked that as depression because it didn't bother me at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I forgot. I got a friend that he had to get therapy for that. Like where he didn't have emotions, things that would bother most people. It would just it wouldn't move him at all.
Yeah,
and he had to get diagnosed with something. And had to literally had to go to therapy for it. I know for me, man, 4th of July will never be the same. Like that loud popping, it sends me into a different mode. I was literally going. I remember I was downtown this July 4th, and I was picking up something, or I was going to meet somebody, and they were popping fireworks a block away. I'm off quick. Anything with loud noise and popping, if it's unexpected or loud commotion, it automatically takes you back to that.
Right, I still have that too.
That's me. Have you seen, when you see a whole bunch of people just running towards you or whatever?
Right.
But no,
that
triggers for me because of a domestic violence situation I went through when I was running through the woods, and I'm always thinking somebody is running after me. Just feeling that feeling that you just can't get away from, those nightmares, those things that you just can't escape, and then the childhood that transitions to the adulthood that triggers the things that you went through when you were a kid that you didn't even disclose to other people. It's deep.
Yeah,
I see.
It's deep.
I think I'm more like Darrell because just coming from where we come from, I'm numb to it.
Yeah,
That's not good though.
Exactly.
You just suppressed it.
And I was gonna say that because some people say something wrong with me, but I like it. I like the response how I am now. Because things when I was overseas and things actually happened, people got shot, was getting shot at, white people running around. I'm like, all right, to me, this 25th state. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm chilling. You know what I mean?
But you normal.
He triggered by the loud sounds. I be looking like, man, who got shot over there?
But and if I paint the picture of how it happened, and I'm talking about, I've seen this dude eyeball out his face.
See, that's what I'm saying. The traumaticness of it could be very different.
Right. So as a kid, I grew up in the hood. I seen people die and all that, and get shot and all that. That experience that night though was different because of everything that was going around. Because of the atmosphere was chilled. It was unexpected. And then to deal with the chaos of people trying to take pictures with their phone and record and stuff like that. You as a promoter, I'm trying to get these people out of here, and people are literally stopping. Oh, okay, my man, and he's fighting. You see him gasping. I'm seeing this man gasp for his life. Not I'm talking about taking long, hard breaths, and you see his lung. All you see is lung going up and down, and people trying to record this.
Yeah, and the effects of it differs between person. To me, I've seen that more than once, and I was okay. You know what I mean? But still, they said, of course, it's not normal. You're supposed to be affected, but it just
what's
for
normal?
me exactly.
My thing is, what's
for
normal?
example,
what you consider normal, he might not consider normal.
Well, if anybody getting shot in front of you, that's an unnormal situation.
Yeah.
But if you were always in that environment,
that becomes his normal. But when he comes out of that, and his
that's not a normal
everyday situation.
It's my normal, but I don't go out no more.
Because why?
Because I just be paranoid.
Because
so I don't even. I stay in the house.
Issues, you know
that's
what I'm
PTSD.
That's PTSD.
Oh, I mean, I told y'all from the jump.
I was diagnosed with ADHD too, but and I was prescribed Ritalin, and I was prescribed Adderall too. But then when I was diagnosed, they gave it to me. I liked my ADHD, so I stopped taking it because I liked the symptoms of being ADHD.
Most entrepreneurs are
it makes me real productive. You know what I mean? So I stopped taking medication that will make me quote unquote norm.
Yeah,
because I like the
It's an opioid. It's a drug.
So moving on to the next thing, personality disorder.
Ooh.
So,
What's that? I just think everybody crazy.
So cute.
So, and I read a book, and I'm just gonna start off with this book by Zane, and it was called Nervous. Have you guys read that book?
That's a
before,
whole
Nervous?
different topic.
I'm about to say this back in the day. Zane is like
But
Zane
it was-
wrote a book. In the
You
day,
know,
man.
it was crazy. I was telling Darrell about this book yesterday, and it was about this lady who she lived a regular life, and but at nighttime she's a virgin, but her nighttime her is not a virgin. Okay, sleeping with everybody, doing whatever. Yeah, you read that? Just sleeping with any and everybody, just doing all this other kind of stuff. But when it's so crazy because she never knows what's going on until she started to seek out help. And when she did seek out help, she started to realize they was telling her that there's somebody else. When she would go into, I guess the meditation or whatever they would do, somebody else would come out, her other person, and would take over that session. And then when she thought she had to figure out how she could take back over her life to where she can basically get her other personality out or whatever. But long story short, they got to the root of what it was, and it was because she was, I believe, wasn't she raped or something by her dad or something like that, raped by her dad, and that triggered that to make her have all these personality disorders because she tried to get away from who she was or what she thought she was as that kid, But that was definitely a deep book. But let me go back to personality disorder. Personality disorders are a type of mental health problem where your attitude, beliefs, and behaviors cause you long-standing problems in your life.
Quick question. This is a dare question. Would you call people
So funny.
that are transgender or people that homosexuality is part of it?
Yeah, they can't hear you. For the people in the back, they can't hear you.
Would you consider people under that category transgenders? People in homosexuality relationships, would they fall around underneath that?
I wouldn't call them nothing because I don't know. I'm not clinically
But
trained.
what's the definition?
But
That was a good answer.
Yes, that was a good answer.
exactly. You won't get me caught up. But I don't know. But we will ask the professional that next week. So thank you. Please put that in the comments. That's a good one. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you have thoughts on that? Do you think no comment? Okay,
I didn't understand the definition.
You want me to read it again?
No, I'm an after the fact person. It's gonna hit me.
I'm going to comment under it.
Go ahead.
And the reason why I'm going to do it is because I understand. I've been through so much, so I can relate to a lot of stuff, right? And going through these situations, I can tell you right now, going through trauma as a child.
Don't play with me.
Hold up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Pause.
Action.
Action.
Go ahead.
I would say going through that for myself, and going through the trauma that I experienced. Do I need to get on my show?
No, you good.
I might be a robber killer still. Who knows? Why would they bring beers though?
Why? Because we don't drink on the show anymore.
I remember you said that last week.
Yeah, no more drinking on the show.
But
Is
then
your
somebody
wife joining?
Huh?
Is your wife joining?
No.
No, she's not. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Go ahead.
He needs a session. I'm here.
I experienced this where I was broken so bad by men because of, let's say, from childhood on up, where I contemplated the thought of it. You know what I'm saying?
Thought of what? I'm sorry.
Of being in a homosexuality. I mean, a relationship.
Oh,
because
okay.
I contemplated the thought of it. But as I grew up older, I started understanding where did that come from. It was a trigger. You know what I'm saying? I was hurt and broken so bad by men.
Yeah,
I didn't want to be with men. Luckily, my grandma, found it in church. That ain't going. You know what I'm saying? So I had to fight that one. Like, God, you're gonna have to help me because Granny told me that this ain't what it's for. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I can, from my personal
I just got here and I already know what I want to say.
Okay, well, hold on. Let him.
No, I'm gonna let her.
Okay,
I gotta
gotcha.
hear the testimony.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Go ahead. So I can tell you from my personal experience, it is a related mental illness.
Yeah.
From my personal experience, I can't speak on everybody else's, but when it came to me, I found out what it was related to. So I had to seek help out for, you know what I'm saying? Like,
would you think that was a personality disorder that you were going through with that?
Well, it's more of, a lot of times it's like, when you start, it's like a rebellion type. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna say personality wise, like I was rebellious. Like I would be good girl in the church. You know what I'm saying? But when you turn me in the club, I'm live. You hear me? I'm turned up in the club. You know what I'm saying? That's me. You know what I'm saying? That was me. You know what I'm saying? But because I was struggling in these personalities, how can I go to church and tell people I'm curious?
I've always wondered.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go to church and tell people that you're curious. You know what I'm saying? That's true. Not with my granny. You can't. You know what I'm saying? So thank God that granny was there. You know, but people that don't have granny though. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? They just acting that out like for real. Like
I've always wondered like how girls with multiple kids be like, I'm like gay now. Like I mean, or homosexual or. All that. I've always wanted that.
Or be like I'm gay and then they
because it's easy
have a child.
Because once you've been hurt so bad.
But when you ask them that, they'll say that's not attributed
because
to
they
that.
haven't took the time to understand those rooted issues.
I'm like, because you got 4 kids and now you dating women, and I ain't trying to be funny, but like that's realistic in the black community.
But like she said, she got tired. Like she just said, when women get tired, I guess, and they are curious. That's what you're gonna probably go to, and a lot of people, I guess, are curious. You know, they was looking at me like I had a third eye because I had never experienced or even wanted to. You know, but people, I guess that's the new norm.
It's the new norm.
Yes, you know.
Abortion is the new norm? No. What are you trying to take?
No, we're talking about homosexuality and being. Oh, what was
I understand that part because here's the other part that she was saying, and here's the other part that is a little bit more important. Like, sure. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of people. You know, here's the truth that none of these guys here are gonna say. They fuck fat women. They fuck lesbians.
Oh, we're not gonna do the F word on here.
Oh no, we ain't. We. Oh, this is a very clean show.
Yeah, it's tonight.
At late at night.
Mental illness.
Isn't that weird? But they're not. But these are the truths. These are the truths.
I'm triggers are flying.
You cannot. They're not dealing with very serious situations with. All right, I gotta be honest.
You gotta stand up.
I might have to.
You feel real honest.
What's going on?
I'm hot as heck. But I got bleach on this shirt. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm a regular guy. I'm a regular guy that like this haircut came from no reason at all. But
I want to block them.
And you see how bad it looks. So that's how serious I am. The gist of the situation that I mean, and there are a lot of women that want to be respected. They want to be treated right. They all that kind of stuff. They don't want to have to do the work to get to that. You know who else doesn't want to do that? The man. The man does not want to do that. If you're in a situation where you're dealing with somebody and
take your time. That's what they say in church. Take your time.
You don't want to hurt nobody. You don't want to hurt nobody in a way that really hurts them. But everybody has feelings. This man has feelings. These dudes here, they're gonna stand. I mean, maybe I'm the only one that's standing up, but these dudes have feelings, and these women, they have feelings. They have.
For you, though.
Yeah, I actually would rather you ask it right now.
Okay, the question is, have you ever struggled with mental illness? Because that's what the topic is. Yes. Has anybody ever told you about it? What are your mental illnesses?
Okay, I'll tell you right now. I just bought a whole bunch of drinks in here right now, right? And I brought a whole bunch of fruity drinks and shit like that. That's not stuff that I drink. You know what I'm saying? But it's to bring it to the women to deal with the problem that I have on my own. which is I drink hard liquor. Boom. You already knew.
Yeah.
Now, that's not nothing.
No, that is something.
It is something.
Yeah. That's something.
But let me say this. So
Let her go back and ask a question. We come right back. How about that?
No,
because I wanted to go because I was about to say something, and I think I feel whatever you're about to say is gonna go segue. With what I'm
We're gonna let you say
Yeah, let's
no,
get back to.
exactly. No,
But I'm about to say something.
No, I want
Yeah.
you to say it while you got the floor because I'm gonna take it back. So go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna say it like this. True story. Like,
Are you okay to say this?
yeah, of course.
Are you good tonight, bro? You good?
Yeah, because
Watch
Oh, why
out.
would y'all want?
What's
Because
your, what's your name,
That's
bro?
my favorite rapper.
That's mine too. What you
my
talking
name
about?
and my name. Move, like get out the way.
that's your name. Move,
Ludacris?
move.
What's your name for real?
My real name.
That's crazy.
We on Facebook.
I'll let you come right here quick.
I'm very.
Yeah, he.
Oh my goodness. This has, y'all making this too serious now.
No,
That's
that's
conversation. Like that's crazy. Like
That's
that's
amazing.
that's-
how people
like,
are
that's-
for real though.
It
Like-
is, but I want y'all.
like how we having that conversation.
Give
And,
us a minute.
We got a prime example.
no, dude.
Yes, but yeah.
But like that's crazy that we're having a conversation and then that happened. Like
Yeah.
that's
But this is why we're doing this. This is why this forum is for us because these are the things that we
and
deal
that was
with.
not rehearsed. We did
And-
not plan that at all by no means.
Exactly, but it was definitely needed. You know. Okay, y'all talk to me. Okay, let's talk to the host of the show. Okay.
Can we
We can't go on a commercial right now. But let me hold on.
No, it's an hour actually. You can't
Okay.
pause. You might as well-
We cannot. Okay. Hey, Antoine. Hey, guys. We will not. Darrell is handling the situation right now, but we are not going to go on a commercial break. But listen, this is why we talk about mental illness. This is why we talk about the things that was definitely needed for the show tonight because, like he said, it does experience mental illness, and I do.
Somebody asked about
Yes.
security.
Yes, we don't need security. He is harmless, okay? But we got Ghost over here, and he's so extra. Put your pants up. He's flooding. That's why he got him like that. But I'm so sorry for the interruption. But we're gonna continue to go on. I hope you guys are enjoying the show tonight because we are definitely speaking about things that matter in our community, in our Black community as well. Again, if you go to the page that you'll see a list of therapists that you can contact. It was Marco shared it on my page. And Marco, at this time, can you come and talk about the Man Stand Up?
Man.
Yes.
Okay, so
You want to sit down? Which one?
I'm cool.
You cool?
I'm a part of a couple of organizations in St. Louis. One of them is Man Up STL. What we're doing is we're trying to put a focus on like giving back to the men, giving back to the men in St. Louis. We're trying to raise up the men. Like I was saying earlier, like the man role in St. Louis is like, or in everywhere has like dropped dramatically. So we're trying to mentor young men, older men, just men in general. We're trying to bring us together under one umbrella and just build up the city again. And then also I'm with Build STL, where we're trying to mentor kids going to the schools, help with education. Make sure you go follow their pages on Instagram, Build STL,
Yes.
Man
love
Up
it.
STL. If you're looking for information, you go to my business page 4 YANT. It's on Instagram. All three of those are on Instagram, and we'll have information about tutoring. Like we're giving back. We're doing like feeding the homeless. We're just trying to show love, give back to the community basically. So
I
that's
want
what
to cover that. I definitely want to cover
Hey,
that. Come out and
more
do
likely,
anything
I'll see
there.
if we can get them out. And,
Yeah, I love what you
shout
guys are
out to
doing.
Jazz. Shout out to Chris Hill. Those are the organizations, leaders. They're really good people. They're amazing people. They grab me. It's just, I literally have like LinkedIn with just like a bunch of like people. I learned that like going through what I went through, that like you gotta gravitate towards people who are like minded. And like actually going through this has made me want to give back more. Like seriously, like I literally have like rededicated my life to helping people, and that's why I started coaching high school football and stuff like that. Because I didn't want kids to go through what I went through growing up as a kid. So,
Exactly. That's amazing. And thank you for sharing. I really wanted you guys to hear that because what is it called one more time?
Man Up STL
Man Up
on
STL.
Instagram.
Find
Build
on Instagram.
STL. And then my business page is 4. That's the number 4. YANT on Instagram.
Woo! Gotcha. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Hallelujah!
God is good.
Y'all.
All the time.
And
All the time.
God is good.
Hey, we gonna go to church one time. They talking about that.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, look at the camera.
You and that. Oh.
All that. They so petty. Y'all so petty.
All of that.
Okay, so
All right,
let's
sir.
see. So I found this interesting. There are more than over 200 classified forms of mental illness. Over 200. Did you hear that? Over 200 forms of classified mental illness. So that's why I feel like that's why I say something is wrong with everybody. You know, because 200 something is going on, but this is the thing. There's all these chemical imbalances, and we don't pay attention to the signs. Go ahead.
Does it say why it's classified?
It says some of the more, well, no, it doesn't say. I didn't write all that down. It just says some of the more common ones are, I guess, we already talked about that, which is depression, bipolar, dementia, schizophrenia, and anxiety. Anxiety. Who suffers from anxiety in this room? Oh my God. Oh my God. You don't suffer from it? Oh, girl.
That's a
You
blessing.
don't? You are lucky.
That is a
Lucky,
blessing.
that is, because my anxiety is all be on 10. Before every show, before it's just like, whoo, and Darrell will be like, you got this, and I'll be like, whoo, you know, like I ain't ready, but
My daughter mom passed out in front of me. And literally, she had just had surgery, and she had 8. And I was just so happened to be where she was, and she passed out. And like literally, I was fine. In the moment, checked the pulse, got the ambulance out, everything, everything was taken care of. Normal. She came back to. She was good. Afterwards, it literally just like. Afterwards, literally, it just like hit me. It like I was just like stuck. Like hyperventilating, couldn't breathe. Like it was like I was like literally stuck. And it was crazy because I'm like, dang, I just did all this. Like I had common sense to check her pulse, make sure she's still breathing and everything like that, and like nothing. Like it didn't nothing. Like it was nothing. But then like after I sat down and got my daughter calm and my daughter was good, and like it just hit me. I was just like crying, and, like freaking out. And, like it was like nothing I could do.
You know, it's funny you said because when I went through my domestic violence situation, and then I was speaking with the police officers, but I was so distraught. I was so out of it. I don't know what I'm saying. These people, I don't know what they saying to me because I'm still looking around my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that somebody he gonna come kill all of us, y'all included. Okay. My mom, they talked to my mom. They told her that I was more of an emotional wreck than anything. That I was more of an emotional wreck because I guess, you know, from choking and all that kind of stuff, you don't see the visible scarring at that moment. So me being out of it and just discombobulated, you know, they didn't even take the situation serious because of the fact that I didn't have the scars, I guess, that somebody that was brutally beat, you know. But it just made me think that the aftershock of what I went through and how I was, which is going and how you said how you just passed out or whatever. But I was just so in shock and so shaken up just for days, you know, for days. But I did seek help. I went to the doctor, got a doctor's note and everything. You know, I might be off work for it because of the fact that they know that when you go through domestic violence, that's gonna always be a forever trigger. It's gonna always be a forever trigger, you know. But it's about how we cope with it. Me coping with it, my domestic violence situation ended up for me being able to do this show. So, you know, it was a blessing out of what I went through to be able to bring this for other people, to educate and just to be able to come and talk about it, because I know that I'm not the only one that went through it, you know. So that's why I thought like this would be a good thing, because we deal with all of these different things, just like this mental illness. We deal with it and we're just not talking about it. That's why this forum is here, for us to be able to talk about it, men and women. Like, this is great to have both sides, and for you guys to man up and say, hey, yeah, something is wrong with me. Everybody wants to sweep all of that stuff up under the rug, and that's why I say we want to talk about the things that people sweep up under the rug. This is one of them. That is one of them. You know, this is real. Y'all okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
He shouldn't be driving.
Hey, Antoine.
Should not. But yeah, he needs to get. Okay, so having one or more mental disorders is often seen as a sign that the individual has a higher risk for violence. What are your thoughts on that?
Wait, say that again.
So having one or more mental disorder is often seen as a sign that the individual has a higher risk for violence. Yeah, because you already spoke on that. They don't know how to control those emotions. Go ahead.
I agree, because my 4-year-old has ADHD as well as sickle cell. So both kind of like coincide with each other. So if he doesn't get his way, he's throwing stuff, he's kicking. Like, we had a situation earlier. He wanted me to get McDonald's and I said no, because we were on our way home to eat. He gets mad. He starts kicking the TVs in my truck. He's screaming. He's throwing the car seat. And it's like, I'm driving, so I can't really, you know, deal with the situation at that moment. But it's just like, I have to work on what the doctors teach me of how to calm him down. But there are times when it's like, he just has those moments, and it's like, I'm nervous for him to start school, because I'm like, what if one of those moments happen when he's at school and I'm not there to help him calm down?
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what can happen. Yeah.
Does he have a male influence in his life?
And that's was that your case too? That's why you act out and you were doing the flipping of the tables and stuff too?
Well, when I was acting out, I mean, like I said, I knew as I got older what the reasons were, but that was a easy outlet for me. Like, I'm a fighter. Like, that's what I do well, you know, because I've had enough practice in it. You know what I'm saying? So that was good. But now that I'm older, I can't be 30-some years old fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that I had to get some type of help, because I had every right to fight, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was coming out there when I was younger, you know, so I could justify it, but that doesn't mean that it's right. You know what I'm saying? So I had to literally seek help with how to control myself, you know, how to be so not defensive, you know, how not to be offended. Yeah. You know, those are things that I dealt with that, which, and everything led to, I had everything chronic, PTSD, you know, and then being in a relationship with abusive men, I've suffered all forms of abuse. So for my mind to be where it's at, it's a blessing.
Do you think that the reason, and I hate to say this, but we're just gonna keep it real. You're a strong personality. The men that you dated, do you feel that they just could not accept the fact that you are so strong-minded and willed, and just how you are outspoken and just?
Well, I hate the fact that I'm a strong person. Like, I kind of reject a lot, because I didn't have no choice. Yeah. So if you don't have no choice, you know, that's just what people gonna say. I didn't have no choice but to be strong, you know. But I'm learning now that it's okay for me to not be so independent. I don't like being independent. I need a man to come take care of me.
Thank you. That's why I said I do not want to be a man to have a man.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to be a man to have a man. You know, no, I need a man.
But I need to understand that but I had to understand, by me going through so much, I attracted toxic men because I was toxic. So it wasn't their fault, you know. They were just as toxic. So they were looking for the healing in me that I was looking for in them. You see what I'm saying? So I had to learn, nah, player, right now, I ain't healthy for you. You don't want this girl. This ain't what you want, player. This ain't what you want. I can lay it down real good. That ain't no problem.
Yeah, you know what? I've been getting that a lot lately.
Laying it down?
No.
I hate it, laying it down, ladies. Okay, well.
I'll settle it.
Oh, okay.
I'll settle it. No, I've been coming across a lot of women who. Okay, I've been coming across a lot of women that have been openly just saying like, "Not right now, man."
It's good. They know their mental. They know their
That's
mental
good.
stability.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And sometimes they just know their boundaries. Like for me
They know
personally,
you dangerous, bro.
I know that there are some
I mean,
guys
that's
that
like
I've
too
lost
like-
in my lifetime that I could just read and be like, this is
No.
not
Mm-hmm.
going to work.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna work. I mean, I'm not gonna waste your time. You're not gonna waste
Yeah.
yours. It's not
And
gonna
you
work.
can be intimidating too, because you're a black man. You look nice. You look good. Okay. You keep yourself healthy. And some women that have been battered are afraid of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a hard thing in itself. You know what I'm saying? Just like me, I'm afraid to be in another relationship because I don't want a damn a broken nigga. I mean,
She corrected herself. The rose that talked and went out with it.
so I gotta be mindful that I attract some brokenness, but I also gotta be mindful that I deserve a good man. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's my balance now. Like I deserve a man that look like you 6 foot whatever chocolate that I can climb up. I deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Sit down.
Let me ask you what she just said. Look at him, Moscow.
Sit down.
Whoa, baby, good, baby.
Like you say you fucked up and all this other stuff. Anyway, just to add what she just said, like if somebody came to you better and everything like that, like what they see and perceive, like they may put you on a pedestal that you might not even be on. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
dangerous,
they can't handle
baby.
that. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
Danielle, they can't hear what you said. Say that last part again.
Say a lot
I
of
said
people in the back.
sometimes women might see a nice man or think he's got it going on or whatever, and they might personally have issues of their own, but they put them on a pedestal and they put them on an area that they can never reach, and it's just like
Take us off.
you trying for nothing.
But see, what you gotta understand is that I put you on a pedestal too, though.
Yeah,
I chose you.
But if
But
they
are you
never
pedestal
had
the
that,
same?
but if they never had that, nothing
Like,
you
I
can
don't-
do
I'm
can help her.
Ever, man.
Nothing you can do can help her.
It's messed up, man. I'm
Hey,
trying.
I
I'm
have-
trying to love that
I
woman.
have a theory for that. It's called chasing ghosts.
What is
Man.
it?
Chasing ghosts.
What's chasing ghosts?
Chasing ghosts is when you're trying to figure stuff out in a woman or a man
Yeah.
that
You'll never do it.
you'll never be able to figure out. Like it's like
Give it up.
insecurities that somebody else gave them that you never have given them, and it just won't go away until they get that treated. You won't be able to get treated because it's the insecurity that you didn't put inside them.
But I don't want you to just keep chasing the wrong type. When I didn't, you know what I'm saying, come on, let me love you.
Edit that out later.
Listen, I don't want no love. I just told you what I said. I need somebody that can take care of me. Love is gonna come. That's gonna come. That's gonna be built.
All right,
Please, if we finna get this built, if we finna build something,
You know,
more than sleeping in the bed.
But everybody ain't ready to build either, though. Like,
Exactly.
That's
That's
why
why
you gotta get with people that are.
I don't know how old y'all are, but I'm 31. If we ain't building, what we doing?
everybody ain't on that level. Wait a minute.
Hold
People
on.
say
Hold
that
on, hold on. We can't
situationship.
talk. We can't talk at the same time.
What is building?
So
That's a
if
good
we're gonna tie it into mental health, a lot of people don't get their brokenness fixed.
That's it.
A lot of people don't know that they're broken.
Yeah, true.
So like they're going into something realizing like trying to figure stuff out and not knowing. Like it's a lot of mess, and mess only begets more mess. So like I said, with someone I dealt with, I couldn't, because of her household, I couldn't get in. Like we had a whole like crib together, and she talking about like I'm like literally like ready to pick out a ring, and she talking about some, you can't get this and this because you ain't my husband. I'm like, so what are we doing? Like what are we doing? I'm like, this ain't a switch that you just turn on.
You know, spirituality, religious ways is also a mental entrapment of bondage. And I wish people would learn that.
Can you repeat that?
Religion is sometimes.
Can you sit right here first?
Religious ways, or what people haven't realized, religious ways are sometimes spiritual bondages. Yeah, or bondages. Because, like you just said, okay, I'm not gonna move in a house with you because that's not, you know.
No, we stay together.
Oh, but y'all ain't getting married.
That's what she was wanting. She was saying like, it's certain things I won't. No, you're fine. She said it was certain things that she wouldn't do because we weren't married. Now, mind you, like, we went and looked at rings
But
and
y'all
everything,
stand together.
and we stand together.
So she had used a religious way. She impounded on it to make it okay for her in her mind.
Yes.
That's a bondage in itself. You know what I'm saying?
Again, I would never.
Yes,
like,
y'all-
I would
It's a
never-
bondage. But they pick and choose.
I was just gonna say.
Oh no,
I
I know that, but I'm saying until you realize we don't even know. Like all of us.
Oh, I figured it
But
out.
sometimes
It was too late by then, but I had figured it
Yeah,
out.
like you gotta undo even what you were taught. I had to
That's
do a lot of
true.
stuff in church that I was taught.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff
Like my church.
was just like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me everybody's still depressed up in here and don't nobody else see it?
but
Y'all
sometimes
still
I'm
stuck
sorry,
in the same
like,
relationship 20 years
I'm
ago?
sorry. Like, that's.
Speaking of depressed men, I want to talk to you guys. Do you?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. How do you? Wait, hold.
What? Yes,
Well, okay,
Do you
yeah.
deal
So,
with depression?
yes. How
we
do you
deal with it? I've
Yeah.
never.
like? How? What?
Well,
How did
I don't-
this
I don't-
attack you?
I don't know what that.
Hold on, y'all
feels-
both can
Oh, I'm
talk at
sorry.
the same
I don't know
time.
what that feels like.
You don't know what depression
my
feels like.
my spirituality and like it's just that's a level I literally I don't believe I can get to. I've
Depression.
never been there. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying with my spirituality, the anxiety is probably as far as I'll go, and that's because like that's literally a moment I can't control. Depression, like over a long period of time, I'm just able to say my God has been too good for me to let that. And I'm not saying that everybody else has their own testimony. But for me, my God has brought me too far. I'm not supposed to be 32 having this conversation with y'all. I was supposed to be dead a long time ago doing some of the stuff that I was doing.
Right.
So because of that stuff that I control and stuff that I know I take my hands off stuff that I can control.
That's good.
Even when the situation happened,
That's
when I went to my pastor, I was broken from that. But I was like, hey, I know I'm broken from this. Like, I know this is not okay. I know that this is going to be a process that I have to deal with. And it's going to be nice that I probably won't sleep dealing with. I didn't sleep for like 4 days after that happened. And like the moment I went to sleep, the trash truck came and slammed me. I was so mad.
I
was
love
so-
the fact that you are a
was
black
so-
man, but you
was-
into church and
was
that
so-
you speak about God
That was
so
depression.
openly. Like that's definitely
So
something
that
that's
is-
needed to be.
I just couldn't
seen.
sleep. I just like literally.
That's depression.
I mean, if that's a form of depression, then I just like I couldn't like I literally had anxiety where I couldn't sleep. But like as far as like a long term, I would say a long term depression,
Yeah.
something that happens over a long period of time. I've never had to deal with that
Depression sneaky. It
because
comes
of.
in situations. Depression comes in situations. It doesn't have to be long term. It can be situations.
Well, see, I'm not a clinical person, so I don't know how to diagnose it.
She just said that there were over 200.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
let me
I
say
don't
this,
know.
okay? Because let me say this. I told him earlier. There's over 200 forms of mental illnesses. So with depression, I'm gonna let you get to yours, and then I'm gonna tell you about the both of them mixed together. So depression and anxiety. Depression, it comes from frustration, sadness, worthlessness, irritability, loss of interest in normal activities, thoughts of suicide or death, tiredness, disturbance in sleep or appetite, and anxiety, that is trembling, increased breathing rates, feeling nervous or powerless, having a sense of impending danger or panic, high heart rate, sweating. But when you combine them both, you have restlessness, trouble thinking, concentrating on making decisions, excessive worrying, unexplained physical complaints such as headaches, stomach aches, agitation.
I don't want to label mine as a trauma than a depression, though. It was just a trauma. It was a trauma. It was a traumatic experience that I went through, and I may be wrong. Like I said, I didn't diagnose myself.
Right, exactly. You don't
When I went to
know.
go see a therapist, it was just anxiety. There was no form of depression there. It was just anxiety. So
So I mean, I feel like we all go through it, but whenever I feel like I was going through it because I was in college. I lost my girlfriend for 4.5 years. My grandma died. I lost my football scholarship. My grades dropped. The walls were crumbling.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was the oldest, so I feel like nothing could bother me. I'm the oldest of 7. I'm the oldest grandchild. I'm the oldest son. I'm the oldest everything. So I had to figure out a way to fight it. It took me like 3 months to get over it, but I realized that I was going through something, but I didn't go talk to no one because I guess I didn't want no one to label me or not.
Right, but how were you dealing with it, like on your surface? Like, were you acting now? Like, what was
smiling in front of everyone?
just smiling?
Acting like I was fine.
Mm.
But whenever I go to my room, close my door,
Would you break down and cry, or you
all the
just
time.
did you
No,
pray?
no one knew it. I prayed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But at that moment, I was like, no one's listening to me.
Yeah.
it was that form of I didn't know what to do. I mean, I never contemplated suicide because my mom's always told me no matter what, ain't nothing that bad. I mean, because I have everyone depending on me.
3 times.
So it was, thank God I turned around, got my scholarship back, grades got back up,
God is good.
everything else.
God is
So
good.
I got through it, but it was hard because, like I said, my grandma, she was my best friend. My girlfriend at the time was also my best friend. So I feel like women were leaving me. My friends were leaving me. Grades were gone. Scholarships gone. I got it back in the spring. But what am I going to do? I mean, I'm set to do what I'm doing, but it's not working. So it was just, it was real. I mean, I didn't know how to fight it. I just didn't know what to do.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yeah.
How about what's going on with you? You okay?
He already told you.
Oh,
He
you
already
better
told you.
tell us all
Yeah.
about
Oh,
it.
he messed up.
Tell us about it. I mean, y'all can split up. He gone now. Y'all just
Oh, yeah, he is.
y'all
I ain't gonna lie. He made
I let him have the couch. You know what I'm saying?
Let's see what Tiffany got to do.
And he was over my shoulder. He was like,
That's why I kind of
like,
turned.
wait, that's good.
So
I was
I kind
like-
of turned.
I was mad that we on delay because I was trying to look at the camera
And
like.
what's bad is like I really think he needs the show. You know what I mean?
And I really feel like he needed to be. I didn't want him to leave.
He needs
I should have went. I wanted to go outside.
I think he needs this conversation, but not in a capacity he was in today.
Yeah, he was on one.
Well, let's not because his wife don't speak to it. Go ahead, Tiffany.
2 things. The first thing is how important is spirituality when it comes to mental health?
I believe it's very important.
It's very important.
I believe it's very
It's a
important.
balance.
Spirituality is important according to your beliefs.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
According to your beliefs. If you have high spiritual
Because
beliefs,
I hear a lot of people reference, thank you, God. Yes, God got me through. And I was just wondering, like, when it comes to mental health, how important is spirituality?
I mean,
That
like
don't work for everybody.
it don't.
Right.
But like I said, for me, I have that relationship not only with my pastor. I mean, to me, my church dope. And it is what it is. I tell people I go to the Cathedral of Yeshua Worship Center. It's on 4th Street in Cahokia. It's on 4th and Plum. My pastor is like a different type of dude. Like, and I mean, like, and I tell people all the time, I don't go to a traditional church. Ain't no pulpit preacher. It's teaching you, like you said, like, we got this issue. How do we fix it? How do we get better? Like, everybody in the church can't be depressed, broke, and all that, and like that don't make sense.
I'm glad
You
said
can't make that make sense. How is you going to church 50 years? Ain't nobody got no jobs, no promotions. Everybody mentally ill. Like, there's no increase. God don't move like that. I don't care where you at. I don't care where you at. God don't move like that.
Not under any circumstance.
Under no circumstances. You can't tell me my Father moves like that. I rebuke anybody that believes that. That is not how the Father operates. So, like, and that's why I go where I go. Like, for me, I was able to go to him. We sat down, and like I said, I was honest because I know who he is. Like, I'm not okay in this.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna take time. And he was like, son, that's mature. You've come a long way from where you were to understand that. And I'm like, he was like, boom, this is what I want you to do. This is who I want you to go see. Like, I like him because he's able to break down both parts. I'm not gonna give you all this spirituality and then don't give you none of that mental. Because no matter how much you put the word on it, if you're not believing it or if your heart ain't in that place at that moment, it's gonna leave you. If that word ain't in your spirit at that moment, when that demon's there, it's gonna leave. So you gotta treat that with something else. You gotta go see that fleshly side. You gotta have somebody that you can talk to and vent to. And that's why I always tell people, like, I'll slide in somebody's DM not to holler at them, but like, I just saw you going through something.
Yeah, I do that.
Here go a virtual hug.
Yeah.
Somebody love you. Somebody take 5 minutes out their time to say, I see what you're going through.
Yeah.
Be encouraged.
Yeah.
What you're going through is just for a season. It's just for a second. Put the word on it. I send them. I remember somebody was going. I was sending them scriptures every day.
Yep. That's how you
Send them scriptures every day.
That's it.
Send them scriptures every day. You gotta be consistent with it because people need that. Is everybody spiritual like that? No.
No.
Because everybody.
But you gotta be careful with the spiritual thing because I think it's just words of encouragement instead of just spiritual. I mean, sometimes you just gotta send them words of encouragement.
I put the word on it.
No.
But that's me. That's
And
my
so-
faith. That's my faith. That's my faith.
Right, when people in trouble, they don't care what you got. When they in trouble,
right.
they don't care. They want whatever you got on you. If they come in your inbox,
and I believe,
they want whatever
I
they got on you.
I believe that my father who protects me can handle anything that I put. If I say I'm coming in his name and I put his word on it, he gonna take care of that situation.
Anybody coming at you, him.
I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's somebody on the ledge. If he operating in me at that moment, I'm getting them off that ledge. But that's my faith.
That's how I am too. So
we're gonna go with your thing, and then we're gonna go back over here because I wanted to hear the men on what we were talking about. So go ahead.
And also, like as far as the mental health issues, are there other ways to cope besides seeing someone and drugs? Like, are there other ways to heal besides
medication? That's another
medication?
question for a clinical person that knows, and for me anyway, because I'm not going to answer that question because I don't know about that.
I didn't go to anyone.
Because
I didn't go to anyone. I kind of did it on my own.
Working in the pharmacy, like once you get on them drugs,
oh yeah, you know,
exactly. It's a what's it called?
Opioid addiction.
A maintenance medication. The maintenance medication.
You maintain it.
Yeah, to maintain.
So it's like
exposure helps you heal. When you're out of your normal situation and you go travel somewhere else and you really start to see that how you function somewhere else or something like that, that right there can show you how you have to learn how to live. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we don't spend time by ourselves to even know ourselves. And that's linked to a lot of mental illnesses too. Like I'm learning living by my transitioning from wife to now my son staying in the house with his dad. Like I was like, I'm really crazy. Like I'm sitting up here like, dang, what the hell just happened to me? I didn't know how. I didn't know I don't get up and cook in the morning no more. Like that was a problem for me. Like I'm crying when I gotta get up and I can't cook. That's all I know. So now I gotta get up in the morning. Ain't nobody to cook for. Like that hurt me. Like that was a hard time for me to do. And people don't see it like that. You know, people like, oh, it's a divorce, get over. But do you know my life was ingrained in that?
Yeah, right. People don't. Yeah.
What you got, go?
Hold on, but when she said the coping, I did write some things down where coping, but I just feel like it's still like the last thing is seeking counsel. Like you need to seek someone, but it's accepting your feelings and handling that unusual behavior that she would have, or establish a support network. You know, that's very important. Gina, she spoke about that earlier, is how she got into groups that because she didn't have her family and friends, they kind of strayed away with the autism, you know, so she had to get into a support group. So those are ways that you can cope, but it's always going to get towards the seeking the counseling because you need to get that clinical professional help in regards to that. But bringing it back to the men, go ahead, what you got for us?
Y'all really just gonna get on this, huh?
Yes, because we need to see. Well, you always hear from us. You ain't done it. Come on.
I said it.
Go ahead.
So for me, right?
We know you messed up.
I'm messed up.
We know.
Bad.
We all are.
Yeah. I got a whole lot of scar tissue. So over a year ago, right? I was in like a real life relationship, right?
What's a fake?
I'm just,
come on, we're dealing with ghosts. Let's keep it ghosts.
That's like I know where you're going.
I was in a real life relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, talk to us.
And like I had like big plans for Shorty. And then all of a sudden, Shorty got up out of there. I was confused, right? So I masked my pain. I masked it. You know what I'm saying? I took a whole year, I focused on nothing but my fitness. So for a whole year, I didn't do nothing but gym, work. I took the trips that I had on the books. I was talking to people. I was entertaining the idea of dating. But then, if I feel like somebody was getting too close, hold on. If I start feeling like I'm in a relationship, it's like, hold on.
So
let's slow this down.
Yourself an F-boy at that time?
Ooh.
No,
I mean,
she been watching too much Insecure. Watch too much Insecure.
I mean, you know,
that's natural.
He was in the situation.
I mean, not necessarily he was an F. I mean, no.
I think an F-boy misleads.
Yeah, he misleads.
I'm very open and
over honest,
vocal about hey, I ain't trying to do that.
That's what it was.
You know what I'm saying? But so even still, like even though like a man can tell a
A
woman,
black
But
woman,
their signs
or
are
women,
different.
women,
a woman
no.
gon'
A woman will try to persuade you to do something different.
I agree.
I've been in those situations.
yeah.
A woman
So
will
I can
always
tell
try to
you.
change you. I'm talking about fly a wagon, fly a
I've
big
been there.
banner over your head, over your house, saying this is not what I want. This is what it is. And at the end of the day, she's still gonna try to change.
I'm
I'm telling you, I'm telling you.
I
real
just
talk.
it just happened.
I've had conversations with my friends.
It just happened. I will tell you like, yo, we just cooling. I ain't trying to do nothing serious. I'm still recovering. But a woman was still no. Like we
together.
yeah, we together.
We a whole
You know what I'm
couple.
saying? I'm like, huh?
Broke
Like,
up with yourself.
in my mind, it sounds crazy because I'm like,
We together.
you just gonna make me be
Yes,
with you?
I will.
And I just push back, right? So then another thing is about this, I compete. Like I don't just work out to work out, like I compete. So during my competition season, it's even worse. Like the diet changes, everything gets tighter. Right? Like I gotta go. Like it goes from like I want to go to the gym, I need to go to the gym to I gotta go. So everything gets harder, right? I'm in the heart of my competition season. Something happened. I went to work, tweaked something in my back, boom, I'm down. So now I'm on light duty at work, and I can't work out, and I had to drop out of competition. So everything I was using to mask that pain really gone. Fitness is all I had. I can't work out. I'm really scarred. I just came out of a depression for like 2 months. Sick. Can't go to the gym. I'm uncomfortable because of this nerve. So I'm snapping on people. I'm lashing out. I'm pushing people away because I'm knowing this for to get dangerous to you. You know what I'm saying? I had to come out of that. I had to figure out who, Lance, what you gonna do? Because you can't. My name is Lance, by the way. For the people in the back, my name is Lance. Let's go.
Everything else.
Like, you gotta come out of that. Like I even had to tell my mom, like I was out of town.
That truth, Lance. Oh, here he goes.
I was out of town. I had to send my mom a message like I'm gonna get some help when I get home. Cause like my moves is bad with her. It ain't just like women on dating like this. My moves jacked up. Period. So like when I got out of that, I had to figure it out, and I had to come up out of that. So like depression is real. Like you could cover it up, you could mask and disguise it as something else. It's gonna come out.
Yeah.
But you can only wear that smile for so long.
That's God's way of telling us to handle it. You know what I'm saying? When He snatched everything away, I think
Everything was
God be
gone,
like,
yeah.
you need to fix this. That's why I gotta snatch
Yeah.
everything away.
Everything was gone.
He turns you over to yourself.
Yeah, that's it. You gotta deal
Turning
with
you over to
yourself.
yourself.
That's it.
Well, I'm going to end. Oh, well, no, Darrell, go ahead. Yours.
I agree with him. Like I'm the same way. Like
You cannot.
I'm not specific. I'm not saying story, but I'm saying that I'm an over professionalist. You know what I mean? So for me, if I don't feel like being bothered, I will mask myself and being productive, and I will continue to work and grind. And but at the same time, I like the results of it, but it's not like I don't know it's a problem. But at the same time, if I feel like I want to accomplish these goals, and this version of me gets those goals the best, I'd be depressed because I like the results of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not going for depression. Like I want to be about it.
And something like with me is like whatever you use to make you a better person to accomplish your goals, choose that. So some people spirituality, some people choose gym.
It ain't spirituality for me. It's helping other people. Like
Yeah,
literally, that traumatic experience has helped me to like I have no regards for myself. Like whatever I gotta do to fix these kids in St. Louis, like every day I know somebody's burying somebody. I can't accept that no more. It literally makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, that's your why. You know what I mean? So that's me. Like I'm with you. I'm like I understand perfectly.
And thank you guys for sharing. I just wanted to get it from a male's perspective because we get it so much from women. You know, like she said that the women are the ones who's getting all the prescribed drugs for these type of issues. So I really, really appreciate you guys for sharing those stories for other men that are watching this. They will see, you know. But I just want to, I'm gonna end it with the misconceptions about mental health. So this is what I picked up. You either suffer from it or you don't. Mental illness is a sign of weakness. These are all misconceptions, mind you. You can just snap out of it, meaning that people feel like you can just snap out of whatever you're going through, and it's, you know, you shouldn't be like you are. It's okay. People with mental illnesses, problems can't sustain healthy relationships. That's where you were talking about the toxic people, you know, mashing together. People with mental illness issues are often drug abusers. And some people claim that they are mentally ill when they are not. That's another misconception.
Oh man, like,
you know,
I wanted to comment earlier about while I was doing that. Like a lot of some children, like this is not like ADHD like that, but I know some kids there's nothing wrong with them. Like it's nothing wrong with them at all. But like you tell them so much is wrong with them, they eventually
believe it.
Eventually, and they'll use it for a crush. Don't yell at me. You know I get mad. I got a temper problem. And you're like, no, you're regular. You know what I mean? And they use it.
Yeah.
I literally like I believe in it all the way through. Yeah. And like it goes back to me, like that's why I named my daughter what I named her. Because of what her name means. So I want her to know every time I call you, I'm calling you by something that means something.
You know we want to know the name.
Good suspense up.
So her name is Aliyah, like the singer. It means to be highly extended of God, to be plucked up by God. And her middle name is Michelle, and it means who is like God, who also is like God.
Love that. Love that.
I know my son ain't Darrell. It still means something.
It means Junior. Just like your dad.
I was a lot talking about that. If you have a junior, you know, like it's important.
Yeah, no, my first son, a junior.
Oh no! I would definitely name.
Yeah,
I would definitely name my son, but I ain't trying to have one. So don't even matter.
Why would you put that on me?
My daughter, my junior.
Yeah, he trying to catch you. But yeah, no, for real.
But the last one is people appear to be fine on the outside, and that's what we spoke about as well. But actually, they're suffering within. Sometimes people may suddenly act out, not because they are seeking attention, but because that's how they truly feel on the inside. And that's all, folks. That's all I have for you tonight. In the back.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. All week I thought I was gonna cry today.
So I'm going to end it. So, what's that? Okay. Okay. So thank you guys so much for joining this live tonight. We were discussing mental illness. I hope you guys got something from this tonight. Okay. So the topic, what I wanted to do tonight was just to sit amongst people and just to talk about the issues that we deal with every day. So as you can see, people came in here and they took their mask off and they talked about these mental illnesses that we do go through, and they're not ashamed of it, because you should not be ashamed of you. You should not be ashamed of the things that you're going through, because there is help that can help you. There's people out here that can help you. We have it on the page where you can go if you need to seek help for any type of mental illnesses and mental disorders. We have it on our page to where you can seek the help. Give me one. Let me see. So one person who I will be speaking with and talking closely with is Tyler Roy. She's a licensed clinical therapist, and I will be speaking with her next week, and hopefully asking you guys can ask the questions that you have. We're going to be talking about different mental illnesses, doing like a part 2. It'll just be me and her, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more, because we want you guys to get answers, and we want you guys to get the proper help and to know where you can go. So again, I want to thank you guys for the 1,000 likes that we've got on the page so far. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed this show, and you guys have a blessed night. See you next week.